When I was younger, I had this simplistic thought that there were only good people and bad people in the world. And it gives you a false sense of security that you would easily be able to find things out. That is a good person, that is a bad person. But as you grow older, you realize something is far more scarier than that, and that is 99% of people who do things you subjectively feel like are wrong things feel like they are doing good things. It's not black or white. Someone's good, someone is bad. It's the justifications that can come from their actions. And the scary part about this justification is if they feel like nothing is wrong, they're going to continue to do these things that you subjectively deem as quote unquote bad. Hold that in your thoughts as we start my second video on Love is Blind Season 6. This video, we're going to focus on Jeramy and Sara Ann, which means that we be talking about Lar as well too. And I want to explore some of these things as we go through and figure out what happened. Stick around to the end of the video. If you watch my first video, I talked about the famous beach scene, the first time all the couples met each other on the resort. And I think this second incident further drives home the difference between meeting someone on the show and meeting someone in reality. The first time I spoke on this scene, it was about Jimmy making the joke about 80s buttocks and not having the familiarity of being around Chelsea enough to know if that was appropriate to do at that time with his partner. You get a false sense of security being inside of the pods. I know this person. I love this person. I propose to this person, but you've never been around that person. So the first incident we have with Jeramy and Lar is Lar telling Jeramy a joke, and then Jeramy running to proceed to tell everybody about the joke. This then blows up. Now, I'm going to go against popular opinion here. I'm going to say I see nothing wrong with Lar telling Jeramy the joke. It's okay if we disagree on things. I enjoy having conversations with people I disagree with. I more look at the nuances and want to know why someone feels the way they feel. That always intrigues me more than someone agreeing with me. Why do I feel like there was nothing wrong with that? Because that's what couples do. Couples go and share rude, crass jokes with their partners day in, day out. You do it. You did it with your girlfriend. You did it with your boyfriend. You did it with your spouse. We all do that. The reason this blew up is because of the false sense of security you get from being in the pods. And you not realizing there's a vast difference between talking to someone for countless amounts of hours and interacting with that person. They could have been in the pods for 6 months, talking to each other, discussing everything under the sun. They still would have been rookies, virgins to when it comes on when it comes to the importance of interacting with your spouse or your fiance. This happened in the same night. In one night, two incidences happen where people feel like they're comfortable and not realizing this is your first day with this person. It'd be no different. You went on a first date with someone, you probably wouldn't say those crude, crass remarks like that, but you get this false sense of security, and that's the biggest thing that I've learned about this show. Biggest thing I learned about this show is that there is a large difference between actual interactions. Where you see this in real life the most is that some of us fall victim to this when you meet someone online. You meet someone online, you can talk, they live far away, you can talk until you blue in the sun. But when that person flies to see you or you fly to see that person, there's a vast difference and a lot of new information that you're learning with that interaction. So with that being said, I don't see anything wrong with her sharing that with Jeramy. I also don't see anything wrong with Jeramy sharing that with everyone else. When I say the word wrong, I mean bad intentions. I think she was just joking with a partner. I think Jeramy sharing it was people they're just drinking and he's joking around and he said it. The wrongness comes in is how you feel, and I'm not gonna say how you feel, your reactions to someone else's reaction. AD did not like that. Clay did not like that. I did not like the fact that Laura sensing that this is something she don't really care about. So since she didn't care about it, it's not a big deal. Genuine, kind-hearted people, even if something's not a big deal to them, they understand that they have affected someone else. So when you care and have empathy, your natural reaction when someone else is offended or hurt, I sincerely apologize. I did not mean it that way. You wouldn't blow it off. So I did not like Laura's reaction to doing that. And I also, it looked like Jeremy was kind of throwing Laura under the bus a little bit. It didn't seem cohesive. Like, if this is my partner, I'm gonna rock with my partner. We can talk about stuff later on, but in their face, I'm rocking. I'm siding with my partner. So minor thing that night. I didn't think it was anything that big of a deal, but it did show a lot about their personality in the future about how they're going to react to things. We move on to the next morning where they're sitting on the dock, and then Jeremy goes to apologize. The one thing I saw wrong with this scene is that again, Jeremy apologized. There was nothing at all coming from Laura. If you're watching this video right now, don't make the mistake of, I hate someone so much, I only want to hear bad stuff about them. Just because I think that, with them sitting on the bay and then Jeremy apologizing and she didn't, that doesn't mean I think that Jeremy's a good person. It just means I'm only analyzing this one particular scene that way. But it sets up the ground for what happens later. Now, everybody's about to get upset with me, but again, it's about someone explaining why they feel the way they feel. So, this is a warning right now. You guys are not gonna like what I'm about to say. I don't see anything wrong with the message that Sara Ann sent to Jeremy. Let me explain why. And I talked about this with friends. I don't just watch the show, so we have great conversations about what goes on the show. And I broke it down to my friends like this. That would be very wrong if it were in the real world. In the real world, if your ex got a girlfriend or whatever, you don't hit up your ex and be like, yo, if it don't work out, hit me up, yo. But the way this show is designed, you're going to talk to the person that you're dating in the pods. Netflix not only push for this, but they're going to put scenes into the show to make sure this interaction take place. Another reason I don't see anything wrong with it is because you were just talking and dating someone. And when she sent the message, it was literally right after she left. So she leaves this show from someone that she was in love with. I didn't see anything wrong with her saying, yo, wish you nothing but luck and success in the future, blah, blah, blah. Don't work out, hit me up. Let me know. I didn't see anything wrong with that. And I put that to my real life too. If I'm talking to somebody, it's kind of weird to do in real life, but like, if even in the real life scenario, yo, wish you nothing but luck and success with your guy. Don't work out, hit me up. I'm looking at how you respond to that. That's what I'm looking at. Like, I think that I date somebody, they're gonna be attractive, or that guys gonna try to hit them up, try to talk to them or whatever. I don't really care about what someone says in your inbox. I'm looking at how did you respond to that. So what I thought was wrong with that was the fact that he's in a relationship and he moved forward with someone else and he put a heart on it. But her sending that text to him right after that, based upon how this show is designed, I don't think that was the trifling scarlet letter on your head big incident. It would be something for me if I was Laura, like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, we're competitors. You still like my man. But I don't think that was a big deal. However, from that, we move into the big incident. The big incident is Jeremy coming home at like 5:30 a.m. in the morning to Laura, and he claims he was out at a bar drinking with his friends, and she confronts him. Before I get into these details, I just want to say I'm a man who has a lot of women that are friends, and I try to tell them all the time, or they'll catch their guy doing this or catch their guy, they catch one little tiny thing, and they're ready to explode on this guy. I always sit back and I'm like, all right, I know you're not going to listen to me. Because they're amped, they're ready to go. And I'm like, you shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't say nothing. Do you see this right here, what I got in my phone? I shouldn't say nothing. Nope. You should take that, use that, and investigate further and find out the most information that you can find out. Because once this person knows that what you know, once you shoot your shot, they're going to lock down on everything. So this is all you have. I've never, in the history of reality television, seen a woman hold information until the last moment to soak out everything. I hope if you have someone out there that you don't trust like that, or you find something a little suspicious, you learn from how Laura confronted Jeramy. And how she did it was she let him lie, 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 gave him every opportunity before she revealed her cards. What did Jeramy do with this opportunity? Jeramy said, hey, I was going to this bar, but you know, my friends would kind of say, let's go over to this bar. I don't remember the name of that bar, but he said that Sara Ann was going to be there, and he knew he wanted to talk to her. Why, at this point, Jeramy, did you not want to let Laura know this if it's supposed to be safe? Netflix provides you with an environment that you will be okay. In the real world, you wouldn't be okay. But the fact that you're on a Netflix show, you could have easily texted her and be like, yo, I'm going to be at this bar. Sara ain't going to be there. I want to go have the conversation anyway, so I'm going to just go ahead and have it now. If you had no malicious intent, you would have said it then. But Jeramy didn't say it then. He goes on to this bar. He says he sees her. She shoos him away. And then he goes over and talks to her. I will go on to even say at this point, I still don't see what Sara Ann did wrong. All right, that's the dude that he talked to on the show. He's still talking to the old girl. They're still dating, whatever. I know he was gonna be here. I came here with my friends. I shoot him off. He came up. He want to talk. All right, let's talk. Now, the problem comes in is you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't like cry and play victim that no one likes me for my actions and then do things that people are not going to like you for your actions. For instance, if you just talked to him inside the bar, you had a conversation, boom, he came over to you, no harm, no foul to me. But to continue to talk to this man who's engaged alone after a bar closes, you might want to rethink that action if you don't want anybody to hate you. To have this man drive you home at 5:30 in the morning, it's like she just want to have her cake and eat it too. These aren't just innocent actions. These are things that empathetic, regular human beings would know not to do. It reminds me, I wish I could put clips in my YouTube video without getting flagged. I will put the clip of Fargo in here when the sheriff woman in Fargo met the Asian guy. She married. She met him. There's no harm, no foul. They talked. But when Buddy got up from that seat to try to walk over and put his arms around her, no, thank you. She made that face. No, she let him know to get back over there. That's all Sara had to do. All right, thank you. You came over. We had our conversation. Boom, in public like this. Go back over there to your boys. But to take it further and let them drive you all the way to your house and the other things that were said, I find fault on that on Sara. The issue I'm having an issue with society is that everybody is wondering, did he have sex or did they hook up or not? And why does it matter? Why does it matter if they hooked up if someone has 10 weeks to decide if they want to marry a person and they find out that this person told a bold-faced lie to their face, went out with their ex who they know still has feelings for them, lied to them about that, lied and said that I never left. You can check my GPS. When he did leave, he wanted her to believe he never left there. He wanted her to follow a lie forever to mask the fact he put this woman in his car and went to her home. That is enough information to end a relationship that is boring on if you're going to put on a white dress in less than 10 weeks and get married. Why are we discussing if they kissed or if he cheated or not? Just that alone, I cannot go into a legal contract with you in 10 weeks. Something that's going to far succeed a television show and affects my real world, my reality when you did me like this. If you're capable of doing me like this at the beginning of our relationship, that you would go to 5:30 in the morning to hang out with your ex, what else needs to be said? So I didn't understand society trying to take up for Jeremy and saying like, "What, they didn't do anything," or he just dropped, he just went to her house. He went to his ex girlfriend house at 5:30 in the morning. That's enough to end everything. Another disconnect I had with the climate of the audience is people were saying, "Well, Laura was kind of rude to him," and like, Lord, she's supposed to be. Why, I find it distasteful you decided to stay out till 5:30 in the morning with your ex. What did you expect? She's supposed to be upset. Anyone would be upset. You fall head over heels in love, and this is the information you get, and you be made a fool of on television by someone you fell in love with. Someone who's showing any lack of empathy for you, I would expect her to be upset. And his actions after that validated her feelings about him. Now, this is where we get into the monster territory, right? And this is the conversation that Jeramy has with Sara Ann on the dock at the end, after it is official that he and Laura are no longer together. And this is what scares me about society and dating. It's what makes someone a quote unquote monster. What is the reason that lies underneath? They are on the balcony. Sara Ann is crying her eyes out because she feels that everyone feels like she's his homewrecker, blah, 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 and she's sad. Jeramy, and I'm saying this while I'm watching the show, Sara Ann is so blind. All I see Jeramy doing is waiting for her to take one pause so he can change the conversation to something dealing with him and her. So this not only shows the lack of empathy for the fiance that I haven't discussed yet, or the lack of empathy for Laura, the second fiance, as he just literally broke up with her and walked over to talk to his ex. But it shows the lack of empathy that he has for Sara Ann. She's crying. I don't think she should be crying, but I'll get on that in a second. But she's crying, she's hurting, and you're gonna try to date her right now, and you don't care about anything she's saying. You're just like, screw those people, screw those people. Yeah, you're doing what Laura did at the beginning because you don't think that's a big deal. You don't think that she should think it's a big deal because you need to pivot her and get her out of that sad mode to come to you. Monster behavior. Where does this monster behavior come from in Jeramy? I've never seen any lack of care for anyone. He came onto the show with the rumor that he was already engaged to someone, had a family inside a house, got rid of that relationship and sold it. And then he tried to trick the audience. He tried to trick us by saying, look, I ain't try to come on the show. The show hit me up. Let me tell you how that's tricking y'all, right? I've had reality shows hit me up before. I went through an entire process. They find you, they hit you up, but you still have to make the cut. That is as absurd as someone saying, look, man, they found me on a dating app and swipe right. No, you had to swipe right too, and then you guys had to communicate and talk and see if you are a good enough fit to go on that date. So don't try to make it look like one person wanted the other. Don't try to make it look, I'm just minding my own business, being engaged, and Netflix came bothering me to be on this show. No. You're engaged, you broke off the engagement, and you immediately went through the process of the trillion questions that they asked you. You went through every single interview. I know how many interviews it takes to be on shows like this. You went through all of this immediately after you were engaged. You then go on the show and you get engaged and you show a total lack of empathy for your actions. The action to take Sara Ann right after you see Laura hurting that bad and jump on jet skis with her. Sara Ann could be even worse. Sara Ann could be even worse than Jeramy because I got a sense that in normal circumstances, there would be empathy for certain people for Sara Ann, but Sara Ann is acting off vindictiveness. Sara Ann's justification for becoming this monster is they are coming at me. They're vilifying me when I feel like I've done nothing wrong. And let me tell you something, if for the people out there who you may have a vindictive streak inside of you, is that The biggest issue with being vindictive is a vindictive person is someone who doesn't have any qualms to do anything wrong to someone else or will purposely do something wrong to someone else that did it to them. Their justification is, leave me alone, I'll leave you alone, and you won't have to feel my wrath. The problem with being vindictive is it is subjective if someone is actually doing anything to you or not. Because while Sarah Ann is sitting there and feeling like everybody is coming at her, guess who never said anything to her? Laura. So Laura is about to get the biggest jolt of this insensitive act because it's Laura's ex-fiance of a couple of hours that she's gonna jump on these jet skis with. The other women, AD, who came at Sarah Ann, all of them, they wasn't dating Jeramy. So the only thing you're gonna get from this action to immediately go out with Jeramy and jump on jet skis like that, they're gonna look at you and go, The person that's gonna feel the real pain in their heart is Laura. And the only action Laura did was go on a show and fall in love with a guy. She literally hasn't done anything else. She went on a show and she fell in love with a guy. So why should she deserve that from you? What did Laura do to you? You're clouded with hatred of this feeling that everybody's coming at me, so let me go back at everybody else. And then in turn, you hurt someone who hasn't done a single thing to you. That's the problem with being vindictive. And the scary part about it is when Sarah Ann cries and feel like, screw it, they're coming at me, that's her justification to go and do these actions. Like I said, when you're young, it's easy. When you're young, you just believe good people and bad people. You get older and you find out like it's just a bunch of mixed up, swirling perceptions of perception. And the perception of the perception of the perception. Lingering around in a circle that's causing us to move and do whatever to harm other people. But I got something for you. They're doing a remake of the movie The Crow. I can't wait to see it. I'm a big fan of the original Crow with Brandon Lee. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see what they're going to do with this new one out here. But check out how vindictiveness works, Sara Ann. You feel a group of women are coming at you, and from feeling a group of women are coming at you, you then go and be vindictive and lash out, and you hurt someone who literally hasn't done anything to you at all. So what's going to happen now that millions of people are going to see your actions, and now millions of women are going to feel a certain way about you? Are you going to feel like a victim then? If so,
victim.